More than 1.2 million people moved to the UK in just 1 year, the highest number in modern history. But this isn't just about population growth. It's about a silent revolution already reshaping every corner of the country. From schools filling with new languages to tech startups run by foreign talent, and from small towns changing overnight to the NHS surviving because of migrant workers, everything is shifting. Why are so many coming now? What does it mean for your job, your neighbourhood, your future? And could this be the beginning of a completely different Britain? What's happening is bigger than politics. It's a transformation that no one can ignore. And by the end of this video, you'll see how deep it really goes. Number 1. Shifting global migration patterns. The UK's immigration landscape is undergoing a dramatic shift. For decades, most immigrants came from European Union countries, thanks to freedom of movement. But since Brexit, the pattern has changed. Non-EU migration is now at record highs, and this is reshaping the UK's identity. Recent data shows a sharp rise in immigration from South Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Countries like India, Nigeria, and Pakistan are now among the top sources of new arrivals. These migrants are not just coming for low-wage jobs. They're bringing skills, education, and entrepreneurial energy. This diversification has major implications. The UK is transitioning from being a Eurocentric society to a truly global nation. Schools are welcoming children who speak multiple languages. Businesses are adapting to new consumer habits, and communities are becoming more culturally rich. One visible change is the broadening of the workforce. From healthcare professionals to IT experts, many sectors now depend on talent from regions the UK once overlooked. And this isn't just an economic story. It's a social transformation. There's also an emotional dimension. People bring more than skills. They bring values, stories, and traditions. As more global migrants settle in the UK, the collective identity becomes more layered, more inclusive, and more forward-looking. This trend isn't temporary. It's a structural shift. The old patterns of migration are being replaced by a new global order, one that's turning the UK into a crossroads of cultures. Understanding this change is essential to navigating the future of British society, in classrooms, boardrooms, and neighbourhoods across the country. Number 2. The rise of skilled migrants. Since the UK's departure from the EU, immigration policy has shifted dramatically. The new points-based system prioritises skills, education, and salary levels rather than country of origin. This has opened the door for highly qualified individuals from across the world, especially from India, the Philippines, Nigeria, and China, to move to the UK. The result? A sharp increase in skilled migrants who are reshaping industries, particularly in tech, finance, engineering, and healthcare. These new arrivals are not just filling jobs, they're driving innovation. In London's Tech City, for example, over 40% of startups have at least one foreign-born founder. In the NHS, foreign-trained doctors and nurses are keeping vital services running. Universities are recruiting international researchers who bring fresh perspectives and global networks. Skilled migrants don't just work in the system, they improve it. Their presence raises productivity, introduces new technologies, and enhances global competitiveness. Beyond economics, there's a cultural upgrade happening inside organisations. Multinational teams are now the norm, fostering a more inclusive workplace culture. British companies are learning to navigate cross-cultural communication, adapt to global markets, and think beyond borders. Skilled migrants often act as bridges between the UK and the world, helping businesses expand and collaborate internationally. As demand grows for digital skills, green tech, and advanced healthcare, the UK's future will depend heavily on attracting and retaining these professionals. This influx is turning Britain into a brain-gain nation, where talent flows in, energising the economy and modernising the labour market at its core. Number 3. Student visa surge. The UK has become a top destination for international students, and the numbers speak for themselves. In recent years, there's been an explosion in student visa approvals, especially from countries like India, China, Nigeria, and Bangladesh. Universities across the UK are enrolling record numbers of foreign students, transforming campuses into truly global learning hubs. These students aren't just coming for degrees, they're bringing economic value, cultural diversity, and long-term impact. International students contribute more than 40 billion annually to the UK economy. They spend on tuition, housing, food, transport, and more. Cities like Manchester, Glasgow, and Bristol have seen noticeable boosts in their local economies. But the effects don't end at graduation. A growing number of these students stay on after finishing their degrees, thanks to the graduate route visa, which allows them to work in the UK for up to 2 years. This means the UK gains not only academic excellence, but also young, educated professionals ready to enter the workforce. What's more, these students are helping shape a new cultural landscape. University societies are more multicultural, student unions are more internationally focused, and friendships formed on campuses are building lifelong global networks. British students are being exposed to different worldviews, languages, and traditions. Meanwhile, international graduates often remain in the UK, start families, and contribute to their communities. Over time, this surge of students is turning the UK's higher education sector into a powerful gateway for global influence, workforce development, and soft diplomacy. The ripple effects of today's student migration will be felt in the UK's economy, politics, and culture for generations to come. Number 4. Remote work and digital nomads. The rise of remote work has transformed how people think about migration. No longer tied to a physical office, more professionals are choosing where to live based on lifestyle rather than job location. The UK, with its mix of historic charm and modern infrastructure, has become a magnet for digital nomads and remote workers from around the world. This group includes tech developers, designers, marketers, and even startup founders who now base themselves in cities beyond London, like Bristol, Edinburgh, and Leeds. This shift is redistributing immigration's economic impact. Instead of concentrating in the capital, incoming professionals are boosting secondary cities and small towns. Local cafes, co-working spaces, and housing markets are seeing new demand. Remote workers bring with them international income, often earned in US dollars or euros, but spent in British pounds, a dynamic that benefits the local economy. More importantly, these individuals introduce a cosmopolitan culture to areas that previously had limited international presence. The UK government has started to recognise this trend by exploring digital nomad visas, following in the footsteps of countries like Portugal and Estonia. If implemented, this could formalise and expand the UK's position as a hub for mobile talent. Remote work is not a temporary pandemic trend. It's a long-term shift in how people live and work. As borders become less about geography and more about connectivity, the UK stands to benefit from attracting globally mobile professionals. These new residents bring fresh perspectives, professional networks, and a borderless mindset that could accelerate innovation across industries and redefine what it means to live and work in the UK. Number 5. Refugee and Asylum Policy shifts. The UK has seen a significant rise in the number of refugees and asylum seekers arriving from global conflict zones. Crises in countries like Ukraine, Afghanistan, Sudan, and Syria have pushed people to seek safety and stability abroad, with many turning to the UK. Unlike economic migrants, these individuals are fleeing war, persecution, or natural disasters, and their arrival requires a very different kind of response, one grounded in humanitarian responsibility and legal frameworks. This shift places growing pressure on public systems. Areas with high asylum seeker populations are seeing increased demand for housing, healthcare, and education. Local councils are often tasked with finding emergency accommodations, while schools must adapt to children who have experienced trauma and displacement. Healthcare services are also seeing a rise in cases related to mental health and post-traumatic stress, which require specialised support. At the same time, many refugees bring resilience and determination, contributing in meaningful ways once given the opportunity. The UK's immigration and asylum policies are evolving in response to these changes. Controversial debates around detention centres, deportations, and safe routes are shaping national politics and media narratives. But beyond the headlines, community-based programs and charities are stepping in to offer language classes, job training, and social integration support. Refugees who find long-term stability often go on to become teachers, nurses, entrepreneurs, and active citizens. Their presence is a reminder that immigration isn't just about statistics, it's about real human stories. As the number of displaced people continues to rise globally, the way the UK adapts its asylum system will have lasting effects on its social fabric and moral leadership in the international community. Number 6. Age demographics shift. One of the most significant, yet often overlooked, effects of immigration in the UK is the age gap it helps to close. While the native-born population is rapidly aging, with declining birth rates and a growing number of retirees, immigrants tend to be much younger. Most arrive in their 20s and 30s, ready to work, study, and start families. This influx is quietly reshaping the UK's demographic pyramid, bringing renewed energy to an aging society. This age dynamic carries major benefits. Younger immigrants strengthen the labour force, helping to support industries that are facing severe shortages, from hospitality and construction to social care and transport. With more people entering the workforce and paying taxes, there's a boost to public finances, especially in funding critical systems like the NHS and the pension scheme. Simply put, without younger migrants, it would be much harder for the UK to maintain its current standard of living and public services. But the impact goes beyond economics. Younger immigrant populations are also influencing social trends, family structures, and urban development. They're revitalizing neighborhoods, opening new types of businesses, and introducing diverse cultural traditions that enrich daily life. From music festivals and cuisine to education choices and childcare approaches, a younger, multicultural population is shaping a more dynamic and inclusive society. As long as birth rates remain low among native-born Britons, immigration will be one of the few viable paths to maintaining a balanced, sustainable population. Recognizing this and planning for it will be key to ensuring the UK remains resilient and future-ready in the decades to come. Number 7. Economic Contributions of Immigrants. Immigrants play a crucial role in powering the UK's economy, and this contribution goes far beyond just filling labour gaps. Across the country, they are launching businesses, creating jobs, and injecting new energy into sectors that rely heavily on entrepreneurship and innovation. From tech startups in London to family-run shops in Birmingham, immigrants are building enterprises that strengthen local economies and boost community resilience. In addition to entrepreneurship, immigrants are essential in industries experiencing acute labour shortages. The hospitality, agriculture, and care sectors especially rely on a steady flow of migrant workers to operate. These roles are often physically demanding and hard to fill domestically. Immigrants step in to keep hotels running, crops harvested, and elderly citizens cared for. Their contributions are not only economic, they maintain the functionality of entire sectors. During the pandemic, for example, immigrant workers made up a significant portion of the frontline response, particularly in the NHS and logistics. The narrative that immigrants take jobs is not only inaccurate, it misses the bigger picture. Data consistently shows that immigrants actually help create jobs by increasing demand for goods and services, driving consumption, and often employing British citizens in the process. Their spending power supports retail, housing, and transportation. As more immigrants move into regions outside of London, they also help revive rural towns and stimulate economic growth in underdeveloped areas. In a world where economic uncertainty is rising, immigration offers a powerful lever for stability, innovation, and growth. A smart immigration strategy doesn't just welcome new arrivals, it empowers them to contribute, creating a stronger, more balanced economy for everyone. Number 8. Cultural Renaissance. Immigration is fueling a vibrant cultural renaissance across the UK. As people from around the world bring their traditions, languages, and artistic expressions, British culture is evolving in bold new directions. Walk through cities like London and Birmingham or Leicester, and you'll find neighbourhoods alive with multicultural festivals, global cuisines, and diverse music scenes. This isn't just surface-level change, it's reshaping how people experience everyday life in the UK. One of the most noticeable impacts is in the culinary world. Immigrant communities have introduced foods, flavours, and preparation styles that are now part of the British mainstream. Dishes like jollof rice, biryani, pho, and kebabs are no longer considered foreign. They're local favourites. Similarly, fashion trends are shifting, influenced by South Asian textiles, African prints, and Middle Eastern styles. Even in the arts, theatre productions, film festivals, and literature are now more reflective of the UK's ethnically diverse society. This cultural exchange is not one-sided. While immigrants bring their heritage, they also engage with and contribute to British identity. Many second-generation immigrants are blending cultural influences, creating new hybrid identities that reflect both their heritage and their British upbringing. These evolving identities enrich schools, media, and political discourse, encouraging broader conversations about inclusion, representation, and belonging. The result is a more dynamic, inclusive culture, one that is continuously being redefined. Immigration is not diluting Britishness, it's reinvigorating it, adding depth, colour, and diversity to a national identity that's always been evolving. This cultural shift is one of the most enduring legacies of modern immigration, and it's already changing how the UK sees itself and how the world sees the UK. Number 9. Political ripple effects. Immigration has become a powerful force shaping the UK's political landscape. It's no longer just a background issue, it's at the forefront of policy debates, election campaigns, and public discourse. From the Brexit referendum to recent debates about small boat crossings, public attitudes toward immigration have heavily influenced how parties build their platforms. Politicians now recognise that immigration isn't just about numbers. It's about values, identity, and national priorities. As new immigration trends unfold, they are prompting shifts in how both local and national governments respond. Policies are being developed to manage integration, housing, and public service access. Meanwhile, areas with growing immigrant populations are becoming key voting blocs, capable of swinging elections. Political parties are adjusting their messaging to appeal to diverse communities, recognising that immigrants and their children are a growing segment of the electorate. At the same time, the public's views on immigration remain deeply divided, with media narratives often fueling polarising opinions. But there's also an undercurrent of positive political change. Immigrant communities are becoming more politically active, running for office, joining campaigns, and influencing local decision-making. Cities like London and Manchester have elected leaders from immigrant backgrounds who advocate for inclusive policies. This increased representation is creating a more reflective democracy where a wider range of voices are heard. As immigration continues to shape the UK, it will also shape its governance, laws, and social contracts. The long-term impact will not be just about who lives in the country, but how the country chooses to govern itself, define its values, and build a society that works for everyone, regardless of where they were born. Number 10. Technological innovation and immigration tech. The UK is entering a new era of digital transformation in how it manages immigration. Advances in technology, especially in AI, big data and biometrics, are revolutionizing border control, visa processing, and population monitoring. The introduction of e-visas, automated checkpoints, and digital identity verification has made the system more efficient while also raising important concerns about privacy and data security. These tools are allowing the UK to process more migrants while maintaining tighter control over entry, status, and eligibility. Behind the scenes, data analytics is helping policymakers understand immigration patterns in real time. Governments can now identify labour shortages, track regional migration flows, and even predict integration outcomes based on historical trends. This enables more responsive policies that align with the UK's economic needs and social priorities. Tech startups are also playing a role, developing platforms for visa application support, language learning, and employment matching, making the journey smoother for migrants while easing the burden on overstretched public systems. But this digital shift comes with challenges. Relying heavily on automated systems can lead to algorithmic bias or technical glitches that affect real lives. There are growing debates around surveillance, the role of private tech firms, and the ethical use of biometric data. Yet, when used responsibly, immigration tech has the power to create a more transparent, accessible, and adaptive system. It allows the UK to maintain control while remaining open to global talent. As technology becomes a core part of immigration infrastructure, it's not just changing how people move, it's reshaping how the country defines mobility, belonging, and citizenship in the 21st century. Everything you've just seen isn't a prediction. It's already happening. The UK is being reshaped every single day by new faces, fresh ideas, and bold energy from around the world. Whether it's in your local shop, your child's classroom, or the hospital you rely on, immigration is no longer a side story. It's the main plot. Now we want to hear from you. What changes are you seeing in your city, your job, or your street? Drop a comment not just with your opinion, but with your story. This channel isn't just about facts, it's about your reality. And if this video gave you a new perspective, why not take a minute to watch our last video on the truth about Britain's ageing population? It connects perfectly with what you just learned. We put a huge amount of time, research, and care into crafting videos like this, so you get content that truly informs and inspires. So if you believe good content should be seen, help us grow. Subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it means the world to us.